Welcome to issue or part number 2 of what I'm going to call knee-jerk thinking or knee-jerk reactions or something like that. I'll refine the title. This is where I go through a list of questions or ideas in rapid succession and give my ideas on them. This is Richard Nikoley, coming to you from typically the southern tip of Phuket in Thailand. The blog is freetheanimal.com, a 19-year endeavor with over 5,000 posts written, edited, and published by me. New research shows the number one influence on whether a woman cheats is her friends. I agree wholeheartedly. Dudes, if you have a girlfriend or wife who's heavily into these girls outings, girls weekends, you know what I'm talking about, right? Where the chicks all get together. What do you think they talk about, right? They talk about how bad their man is, with no self-examination, almost no self-examination. It's just a big misandry fest, men-hating fest, right? It's not to say that guys don't do that as well, rather than an attempt to understand the needs of the other. Men understanding what women need, women understanding what men need, beyond the sexual part, right? Everybody needs that. So, but men's needs and women's needs are different, and not understanding leads to frustration. But I would agree 100% with the new research. Who suffers the most as a result of the wealth gap? Well, that's, first of all, that's question begging. You know what question begging is? When someone says beg the question, it doesn't mean raise the question. It's a logical fallacy. It means it assumes the premise in the question. So, in other words, wealth gap. Who says there's a wealth gap? Yes, some people have more money than others. Is it a gap? What, you know, how do you define a gap, right? What circumstances are there? Where do you live geographically? What kind of society? What kind of culture? On and on and on and on and on. The question wants to imply that that some people should have, some people don't have money undeservedly, and people have money or wealth undeservedly. Well, there's both on both sides, right? So you get emotional about these issues rather than saying, well, you know, yes, there's a lot of unearned wealth out there, and there's a lot of unearned poverty out there. But if you mix it all together, the hardest and most dedicated working folk tend to lift themselves up. Even in developing countries, where I live in Thailand, there's a fairly burgeoning middle class. When I came here 30-some years ago, you know, it was rich and poor, right? Now there's just tons of people entrepreneurs who own businesses and drive nice cars. And how do you find stillness in the busyness of life? Well, almost again, it's a little bit question begging. Why is your life busy, right? There's a time and place for everything or most things, and how busy you make it is up to you. Are you virtue signaling, right? Are you a workaholic because you want people to see what a workaholic you are, right? And it's like the inverse of an alcoholic. You're a workaholic, right? You're so much better, right? So your life does not have to be busy per se, at least in the Western definition, right? What if you're busy, self-reflecting, thinking, producing, creating stuff, and not busy at a workaday job, or trying to meet obligations that others have assigned to you, right? So why don't you first stop trying to be so busy, stop and enjoy life a little bit, and see what happens.